Level 7. Levels in levels. Hey there. First, I will start with the comment by Azopa18. Am I really making the decisions, or am I just living the illusion of choice? Or is it algorithms, memories, hormones, and the subconscious that are guiding me there? Can you talk about that on the next video? Yeah, I will tell my opinion about these questions humbly because these questions are very personal and perceptional, and these situations change by the moments of time. So what you feel when you're 7 is not as the same perception as when you're 17, and it's not the same perception and thoughts when you're 37 or when you're 77. So they are different. Uh, but I humbly comment on this because I remember my almost all memories in life. As long as I concentrate on the moments, I remember almost everything I have done. I just need a trigger a little bit and concentration to focus on what I have done. But sometimes these memories are really tricky because uh, it's not. It can be wrong because you are remembering back, and when I remember what the thing that I remembered before, so every time I remember, it changes. Something changes, like in the event in the memory I actually in real life that I lived. But let's come back. So the decisions I'm making, actually, if you ask me, this is like levels and levels. So am I really free, or how free am I? So these questions really and answers change because actually, especially in this age, there is no uh, like a single truth. Like there are like perspectives, but not single answers to something like 2 plus 2 is equals to 4. Especially in our age now, because we are living in crazy abundance time, and everything's there. Lots of things like look, there's cup. I don't know who made this, but somebody made this cup and I got it for free. Imagine somebody put his life effort, everything, and I got it free. That's the age we are living now. Everything's full of abundance and there are everything everywhere. Besides that, now the question comes to existence. How am I making decisions? How the life is shaping around my choices, or am I living an illusion, or the decisions I make actually belong to me? So this also comes to question of faith. If you believe in God, especially, or in a creator, or a divine power, or however you have it, it's also um, depends on your perception, and it's on your perspective. So how I believe in this situation, how we make decisions and how they shape, actually I only believe in one thing, and that's our personal mind. And although it's very open to change from environment in exponential ways, I believe that the choices we have is like having a blank paper. This is our mind, this is our life, and let's say from this point I was born, and from here uh, till my death, let's say, and this is our all our life. But imagine maybe a bigger paper. So every time I make decision, I go from A to B to C to D, like options, like these decisions. We always think in life, like if I want to do something, for example, let's say if I want to take this video now, should I share? Yes or no? Then okay, should I put it on YouTube? Yes or no? Now it branches into two branches. It's like a ancestral family tree. So it branches out, and these branches out like a tree branch, and even those branches to sub branches, and it goes and on and on. So there, only thing we have control of is the decisions we made and the branch we took. But since we took the branch, we created a branch on the paper. So we cannot go back on that branch, but we can create another branch that tries to go back. But since that part of the page has already been fulfilled, which it means that we lived that moment and we experienced that moment, but as the time floats and goes forward, we cannot go back in time to relive the moment. So what we can do is to create another branch and try to go back like that way. But how does that affect? So we still, it's kind of an illusionary answer, but that choice is already made by your mind. You can decide not to make that decision. So, but even when you think that you make the decision, how do we perceive the life also has importance. For example, turtle, known by its slowness and known also by how long it has a lifespan to live. So, usually some species live like 100 years, 150 years, I don't know, many more, like many, many more. I cannot give really example. I don't know. I don't want to be very specific because I don't know the specimen, like Latin name or like the animal, but let's give the example of turtle. So let's say turtle like that, but when it comes to moon, how does he perceive the time as well? That's also depends, because that also affects your choice. Because recently I watch cartoons I used to watch when I was child, and there was like especially like a moment, and that moment, like that this scene takes part like 5 to 15 seconds. When I was child, my perception was more often, and I could perceive faster things in much shorter time. So, after years, when I watched that cartoon back, I was like, holy moly, the the scene just flashed in front of my eyes. I couldn't see what happened. And I rewinded back and I watched, and I still couldn't catch, and I rewind back, and after several times I perceive it. But when I was child, I was more often open to those scenes, and I could perceive almost everything. So that also affects, your memories and your situation in life. Maybe like these animals, in animal kingdom, I mean, turtle, maybe perceives slower, or we perceive, universe maybe slower, but maybe for, I don't know, for maybe for bird, I don't know, maybe the air is green, maybe, I don't know, but we see it as a blue, because of the spectrum, etc. I will not get into that, but there are like levels and levels. So even in your level of decision, or in your decision making, or in your level of thinking, or your level of experiencing the life, there are levels to that level, and there are sub-levels to those levels that has levels. So it's like levels and levels and levels. So this is how the life goes on. So really, like, cannot give you one thing, but that's personally, that's what makes the life most exciting for me, personally speaking. Maybe, your level is different, maybe it doesn't make it for you, I don't know about that, but for me that makes it very exciting, and that's one part of the things that I love, the life and living, and sharing this experiences around me. And also that's one of the reasons why I'm taking these videos, to share my current level of perceiving the life, and how my situational perspective on things I experience. They might be positive, they might be, these all change regarding the time, but regardless of that, regardless of everything, life is beautiful because we can think, we can write down on this sheet of paper the decisions we make. This sheet of paper, if this sheet of paper is our destiny, then we can write and branch out whatever decisions we want. And although sometimes these decisions are out of our control, or it may seem that they are out of our control, but most of the time we are on the driving seat, and although we are not aware or it or not, we are always on the driving seat. So that's the other thing I wanted to share. So regardless of that, I hope my comments on these like philosophical questions, like ultimate life questions, humbly, help you to understand a little bit more, because honestly, I also don't know anything about life. Like, I don't know, like, several decades of living, it's not enough. Seriously, what we know and what we think we know, and in a cumulative sense, still not enough. We're like a sperm on its way to become a human in all these billions of years of living in this life and the evolutionary line, and the current expanding level of the universe. That's how I think, because it's such a vast scene in this universe. Like, it's so simple, these things we worry, but are they worth to worry? So appears to be yep, apparently so, but are they? So maybe not for a dolphin, or for a dog, maybe for a horse, maybe. So we don't know these things. So just by human perspective, we cannot come to final decision. This is what I wanted to say. But overall, yeah, there are always levels in levels, and those levels has sub levels. So by levels I mean situations, experiences, perspectives, your thinking process, your decision making, even your hormonal feelings. You might feel excited now, or you might be really bored and really sleepy. Oh, it all depends, it's all situational, and it all depends on your level of experiencing. So this is what I want to share, and in this week's level, that's all I got. I will try to keep it short. Thank you for listening, and thank you for having me as a guest. I wish you health, wealth, and peace of mind in your current level and in your future levels. So I will see you on the next one.